Hey guys, what's going on? It's Dammy here and welcome back to Marquee Matchup Predictions, a series in which I aim to predict which teams I believe will be featured in the Marquee Matchup Squad Builder Challenge in order for you to be able to complete it to make yourself some lovely money from either A, the packs you get from rewards, or B, simply from profits on the investments you make, expecting the prices to rise throughout the weekend during that Squad Builder Challenge time. I know that's what I usually do on the Squad Builder Challenge Marquee Matchups. I aim to predict what might happen in order to make those investments ready to sell them on at the weekends when everyone will be looking to purchase those set players in order to maximise profits and make yourself some lovely money. Anyway, enough chit chat, all that aside. First up on this weekend's Squad Builder Challenge Marquee Matchup is the derby between Derby County, funnily enough, and Nottingham Forest, and this is known as the East Midlands Derby. There's a fierce rivalry between the two clubs, and I do believe this will be featured as one of the Squad Builder challenges for the weekend. I believe there'll possibly be at least one featured from each club, possibly even two, so you want to look at those low end cheap gold players that you can find in order to bring up that squad value and squad rating. Because the better you can do that, the more likely you are to have a higher squad rating, which usually is a required field for the Squad Builder challenges. Next up is a Belgian derby between Club Bruges and Anderlecht. Not necessarily known directly as a derby, but it's got a loose term in Belgium known as the Glory Hunters Derby, and there's not really any animosity between the two cities. This is just purely for sporting reasons. So again, for this exact same Squad Builder challenge, you want to invest in those low end cheap gold players that you can find to bring that squad rating up, and I would predict at least one, possibly even two again from each of the two clubs between Club Bruges and Anderlecht. So just make sure you get your hands on a couple of players from each side, rare golds if you can as well, just to bring that squad value up further. Next up is the derby between Wimbledon and Milton Keynes Dons. This is a huge game in the EFL League One. I believe it's all solely based around the relocation of Wimbledon to Milton Keynes, and ever since then they've had a fierce rivalry between the two clubs. So again, for that reason, this is likely to be featured. I would argue this is one of the most likely to be featured out of all the ones I'm going to mention. So if you can purchase yourself some nice cheap players from each, and you can see already here 4,000 coins for Walsh and 4,000 coins for Williams. You can see prices are already starting to go up. People are predicting this a little bit in advance, so you might want to get on that hype quickly in order to make yourself certain of some nice profits at the weekend. Next up is the game between Young Boys and Fun, but I don't personally believe it's worth mentioning because there's always a chance it might do, and if it doesn't get featured I'll look like a right daft twat. But personally, I don't believe this one will be featured between Young Boys and Thun. That is because there is already currently a Marquee Matchup Squad Builder Challenge for Young Boys for the week just gone. So there's always a chance it might get featured, but I don't believe it will do. So if you are looking to invest in this one, I would choose your times wisely, because there is currently a Squad Builder Challenge already on the go, meaning that all player values are already gone through the roof. So you may want to make sure that you do it at some point in the week and not at the weekend, otherwise you will suffer and it might not even get featured next weekend, because like I said, there is already currently a Squad Builder Challenge for Young Boys. So I doubt they'll include another one, but they might do, so don't completely write it off at this stage. Next up is the Derby de la Mole, and that is a derby played between Turin's most prominent football clubs, and that is Torino and Juventus. So a very big game in Italy, as you can tell, being a big Italian derby. You'd want to pick up again, I'd say at least one from each squad, and I might argue that they would try and make the exact quality of this Squad Builder Challenge gold. So you might want to look at investing mainly in gold players for the Squad Builder Challenge, because like I said, I do believe they'll make an exact quality of at least gold on this one, since it's the Italian league. It's a very big league, so it's full of big name players, and if you want to get on that hype nice and quickly, I suggest doing that. Don't hesitate, just get in on it, because players will go up. And I would argue this is a very likely one to be featured, since it's an Italian derby and Italy is a very big league in world football. Next up is Derby de Lisboa, and that is a Portuguese league derby between Benfica and Sporting Lisbon. It's a derby between, as you might tell from the title, between the two Lisbon clubs in Portugal, and this rivalry originated back in 1907 when 8 Benfica players moved to Sporting before the first derby. So ever since then they've been beefing. They've had a lot of stick against each other, and this is arguably again a huge game. It's in the Portuguese league, not necessarily a huge league in world football, but definitely a decently sized league in world football. So again, at least one player from each side. I wouldn't think they'd make this one a fully gold one, since the Portuguese league is slightly lacking in top tier players. So for that reason, I don't see it being exact quality of gold, but it would still be a very high rating because it's a decent league. So I would not hesitate on buying those big name players in order to complete the Squad Builder challenge. Coming to the penultimate one now, and that is not necessarily a derby, let's say, and that is a very big game in the MLS, and this isn't actually directly the MLS, it's more of a cup. It's the MLS final between Toronto FC and Seattle Sounders, so very likely to be featured in marquee matchups, I do believe, since it is a very highly rated game over there. So I would not hesitate on picking up a few named players in the MLS between Seattle Sounders and Toronto, all of which can be found reasonably cheap at the moment, but that won't stay that way. It will rocket. You know it'll rocket, 'cause everyone will be wanting those players come the weekend, so make sure you get on it nice and quick. The final game now for this marquee matchups, and again I would argue a fairly likely one to be featured, and this is the Super Clasico in the Argentina League, and that is a game featured between Boca Juniors and River Plate, most notably known for Carlos Tevez, an ex-Man United player, may I just add, but not a lot of gold players in there, not a lot of big names featured in the Argentina League, so I can't see them wanting you to incorporate a full gold team one bit. But I would again say, as per usual, obviously the 100 chemistry, that goes without saying, but I do believe they might require one player from each team as per usual, so I would make sure you get on that and look at investing in some cheap low-end players in the Argentina League, both for River Plate and Boca Juniors, to make sure you can either A, get that profit, or B, complete that Squad Builder challenges for the packs and rewards you'll obtain. Anyway guys, that is all of the marquee matchup predictions, big games that are happening this weekend that might be featured in FIFA's Squad Builder challenges. So whatever you're doing, either A, investing to make the profits, or B, investing to actually complete the Squad Builder challenge and get the rewards, because your pack lot might be better than mine. But I usually just invest in these to make myself a little bit of money on the side. But whatever you're doing guys, I wish you the very best of luck once again. If you found this at all useful or enjoyed it at all, please drop me a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Also, all social media can be found in the description. But thank you very much for watching guys, and peace.